Hello, thank you for tuning in to my official YouTube channel. I am Reverend MeeLing, been known by a few names: Reverend MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Lady MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle, quite a few names. So, going to try to focus on one topic at a time for going on, because I did attempt to complete a video earlier, and then I just started trailing off, and so I'm gonna just so I am getting ready to go pick up my last two pieces for my Medal of Honor art project, which I am extremely excited about, and I'm doing everything I can to remain calm because I am so excited, and I want to do a bunch of happy fairy dances because I am how I am. And there are the two biggest Medal of Honor artwork pieces that I'm going to get, that I've completed. And so I'm really excited. And not only am I excited for that, I'm excited for quite a few reasons. So there's that. And then there's a few areas that I'll be going to because I am how I am. And back when I was in Washington State, specifically in 2019, I found a bunch of areas that I had fun in. Not that I didn't have fun while I was there in other areas, but like just random, just completely random places. So there was this area where there's a whole bunch of, I call them seal poopy dogs. I mean, I know they're you know, they're I am how I am about animals. And so they're these seal poopy dogs, and they are so cute. They're so cute because, well, they're seals. They're cute puppy dogs, and like dogs. And I've got scuba diving, so it's like the best of both worlds. And so seal poopy dogs, and they're so cute. And so there were a bunch of times that I would go to this area and I'd be like, ooh, 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 and the seal poopy dogs would get quiet. And then, you know, a bunch of them will get out of the water, and then, you know, like, ooh, 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 and then they, ooh, 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 and oh, it's been a while since I've seen a seal poopy dog. And so there was this one guy who came with me from, well, he showed up to Washington State from Texas. I knew him in scuba diving. And I was like, hey, I gotta show you something. It's so cool. And he just looked at me. He's like, yeah, okay, what? And, you know, he's more like serious and like, you know, not me, obviously. So, you know, he's sitting there in the car as I'm driving. I'm like, it's so cool. And he's just, yeah, okay. So we get to the place, and I'm like, come on. He's like, what is the big deal? I'm like, it's so cool. And he's like, what is it? And I go, listen. And he goes, okay, what? And I said, you just see poopy dogs? He goes, yeah, they're seals. I go, hold on, you hear them getting out of the water? He's just, kinda-ish. I go, oh, watch this. He goes, okay. Well, I get, listen, technically. What? Okay. Oh! And then, you know, he just kind of, what did you just do? I'm talking to the seal poopy dogs, listen. And he just, okay. And so a bunch of the seal poopy dogs got out of the water, some more, and I'm like, you hear them? And he goes, yeah. There's a couple dogs in the neighborhood. You're talking to seal poopy dogs and you're not talking to us. And so, you know, I start, oh. And he just looks at me and he's like, what did you just, and then all the seal poopy dogs went, oh, not like chihuahuas, just like a whole bunch of them, just all. And he looks at me and goes, why are you pissing them off? I'm like, I am not. They're actually mad at you for saying that. And he's just like, yeah, okay. And at that moment, all the seal poopy dogs stopped talking. He just kind of looked at me like, I told you. They're trying to tell you something. And I've had a few situations where it's been, you know, how I go someplace, there's a bunch of animals, it is what it is. And so, you know, I'm going to get to see seal poopy dogs again. And so I'm gonna go run my mouth to seal poopy dogs. And that's and they're gonna talk and they're gonna have a few things to say, and it is what it is, and I am how I am. And and then there's a few areas where there's apparently, like, I guess it's called quicksand. I guess that's what it is. Anyway, I'm just gonna go run across and just go, because that's what I do. And I've done it before. And I'm excited because there's the ocean. And I like to swim in the ocean. And there's this one particular, well, there's a few. There's a few octopi out there. And I mean, it is the Pacific area of the ocean. And when I first got to Washington State, I could feel this, like, kind of, where am I supposed to go? Because, like, I felt like there was this, like, turf issue where it's like, okay, I'm supposed to, where? And my issues, because of my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, deal with memory issues and cognitive issues on top of the headaches and migraines. And so, I'm feeling this, like, weird little pull, and I'm like, what is going on? So then I wind up finding out that there's apparently this 600-foot long per arm octopi that is in the Pacific area of the ocean. It's like, oh, good to know. I know that. Okay. My mistake. So, in 2019, I'm going to the ocean area, and I'm, talking with the seal poopy dogs, and Cthulhu's getting mad. And because I didn't talk to him. And that's a whole different type of talking because, everybody has their own type of language, of course. So there's this one night, and it's right before I'm about to leave the state of Washington to go back to the state of Texas to go take care of a bunch of stuff in the state of Texas before being able, at this point, to go pick up the last 2 pieces of my metal on our project. I would have gotten a U-Haul to have attached to the car anyway. So point being, so I go and I'm there at this one night, and I'm talking with the seal poopy dogs. I'm just simple, no big deal. And so I'm talking with the seal poopy dogs, and they're running their mouth, and then I see this, like, it was at night. I don't deny it. So at night, I hear this. And I see this kind of odd wave, because those who have been in the Puget Sound area, you don't see that many waves in regards to, like, the port areas, because that's why you don't see many waves, because it's more calm in the water. So I see this wave off to the side, and I'm just like, ooh, okay, And then all of a sudden, and I'm at that moment, I'm thinking, okay, I've got to get this taken care of. I got to get this taken care of. I got to go here. I got to go here. I got to get this, and da-da-da-da. And I'm thinking, about some other stuff. And it's like, I need to get in gear. And right as I think, I need to get in gear, out of the water, like just towards the edge of the shore, out comes a tentacle. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I was already, trying to get stuff squared away. But, fine, my bad, I apologize, okay, I'm going to move a little bit faster, get out and take care of stuff I was going to, but okay, fine. So, those who have, like, connections in certain regards to, like, animals understanding and stuff like that, you get that, like, each animal has their own sort of thing, and it's very different than human beings, of course, but you still have that sort of aspect. And so it's one of those, okay, 600-foot long tentacle octopi Cthulhu. And which is funny about that is, one time I went with my son and my ex-boyfriend to a comic something another, and they had these Cthulhu slippers, and I was like, oh, it's a little baby. My son looks over at me and goes, Mom, do you know what that is? And I'm like, it's a little fluffy, it's a cutie patootie. And he looks at me and goes, Mom, that's Cthulhu. He's a Cthulhu. And he looks at me and goes, Mom, do you know who Cthulhu is? He's a Cthulhu. He's a little Cthulhu, little bitty at the back, little baby at the back. And he looks at me and goes, Mom, Cthulhu is not cute. Oh, you don't know. And he looks at me, he's like, Mom, Cthulhu is like this monstrosity that lives in the ocean. You don't know. He's just a little baby. He's just a little baby. And he looks at me. My son looks at me. He's like, "No, mom, no." Have you ever, no, what is a little baby could do? A little baby could do little slippers. My son looks at me. He goes, "Mom, Cthulhu is like really, really scary." No. You just a little Cthulhu. And so then I found this Cthulhu that had a Santa hat. I'm like, look, it's a snuggle type of Cthulhu. I can hug it. And he looks at me, my son looks at me, he goes, "Mom, that is Cthulhu." He's a Cthulhu. Look at that little face. And he looks at me, he's like, "Mom." No. Yes, it's a little baby Cthulhu. My son is just, no. For those who actually, have, you have your own opinions, I have mine. But then again, so in reference of the guy who came up from the state of Texas in Washington State, at one point in time when we were scuba diving, we were in Cozumel, and we were talking about different fish and different animals in the ocean, being scuba divers and on a scuba trip and talking about that stuff. And he asks me, well, what type of fish do you want to see? And I go, well, I want to see the anglerfish, but I also want to see, the whale shark. The whale shark's a little baby. And he looks at me, he goes, a whale shark is a really big shark. No, not compared to what's in the ocean. No, it's just a little baby whale shark. And he looks at me, he goes, for as many, are you kidding? What? It's a little baby whale shark. There's a little baby fish and a little baby belly. He looks at me, he goes, no. No, the whale shark is not that big. You don't know. And so it reminded me, as I think about stuff, when I was, which, okay, I understand why I didn't get into MAST, is because of my response in this regard. So despite my test scores being ready for that, despite all of my preparation and stuff, absolutely. So I got as far as it was like the second or third interview. I think it was the third interview. I got that far. And for those who know about Marine and Science Technology School, you know that it's you have to go through a lot of stuff to be able to get there. So I got to the third interview, and the third interview is essentially where I messed up, but not really, but kind of. I didn't get into the school. That's how I messed up. So I'm talking with the interviewer, and there's like 2 or 3 of them there, and they had asked about certain things in regards to specific aquatic animals. I'm like, oh, there is just this cutie patootie little fish. And that's probably where I did not wind up getting in. Because everything else was just completely, scientific, mathematical, and all that sort of stuff is absolutely required in that regard. And then the aspects of the Naval Academy with the military studies and so on and so forth. However, then talking about that, there's this little fish that I got to go swimming with. And it's so cute. It's got these teepees, and the little teepees are just little teepees, and they go like this. And so those who understand school administrating stuff, specifically for a Marine and Science Technology school, that is not the ideal way to do. But there's these little teepees, and they look like this, and they are so cute. And you got these little teepees. He's got a little belly, and you know, teepees. He's got these little side fins, and this little fin, and he's got this little light. And it's just this little light. And the interviewer's like, a little light? Yes, this little light, it's on top of its head, it's so cute. That is where I did not get into MAST. I can look back now and be like, that is how I did not get into MAST. I got as far as I did until talking about, the cute potato little fishy, it's just snuggle. He's just got these teepees, and the little teepees go like this. He is such a cute little fish. He is such a cute little fish. I can laugh now. And back then I was extremely upset. Oh, I was extremely upset. I threw such a temper tantrum that year. I was so mad. Oh, I was so mad at myself. What was that? That was like the interview process was like in the end of 1995, beginning of 1996. I was so mad at myself. I still, I know for years I was mad at myself because I was like, I want to go in. Again, there were quite a few aspects why I wanted to go and get into mast. Nonetheless, so, when it comes to certain things, I know I'm not the only person when seeing certain animals, you get the little fluffy, 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 and, despite, at this point in time, I have 26 individual scuba certifications. I have my Reiki teacher and master certifications, all three up to that point. And then I have the Austin, but mainly I graduated in the Dallas Dominant Mentor program, but started in the Austin Dominant Mentor program. And I completed like between 11 to 13 different electives in that regard on top of all of that. So despite all of that, and that very big aspect of understanding and comprehension, and not forgetting the amount of spiritual stuff I've studied at the exact same time when I see certain animals, which is little Fluffy! Who is this little Fluffy? And so, my son obviously knew in certain regards the amount, not necessarily the exact number, but knew about my certifications and stuff like that. And it's a Cthulhu. It's Cthulhu. The Cthulhu is so cute. And Mom, no. It's not. Yes, it is. It's so cute. Look at the little Cthulhu tentacles. And so, in reference to that, he just, no, Mom, no. Yes, you do, baby Cthulhu. Look at the little Cthulhu. And I've been that way for just a very long time. And so there was a point in time at the San Antonio Zoo that there was this big, grizzly bear that was sitting in a pool. And I'm like, oh, who's a teddy bear? Who's a teddy bear? Who's a little teddy bear? Who's a teddy bear? Who's a fluffy teddy bear? And my now that ex-husband looks at me and goes, do you know how big a grizzly bear? It's not a teddy bear. It's a teddy bear. It's just a little teddy bear. It's so fluffy. Look, and so those who have gone to zoos, that they have those signs with all those different things. And so it had the grizzly bear paw. Look at the little paw. Look at you, guys, such a little tiny paw. Look at you. And so I took some pictures. I had those developed because they were film photography. And the bear is sitting like this with his arms on the wall, essentially. And I go, you look over here so I can take a picture of you. And so I got a few pictures of the grizzly bear like that for anyone who developed film photography in 2001, 2002. That was me who took the pictures. Hi. And so, who's your cute little teddy bear? And so, I have to think about animals. I do. I know I'm not the only person who finds animals to be cute. And so, in regards to the scuba diving and stuff like that, and in Cozumel specifically, I'm like, oh, the little baby whale shark. That is not a baby. Yes, it is. It's so tiny compared to some of the little fishies in the ocean. And he's just like, no, it is not. Wait, what? Compared to those other fish in the ocean? Are you kidding me? Those come to the surface. Duh. There are fishies that do not come all the way to the surface. There are fishies that do not come up above a certain level. No. And little baby whale shark comes to the surface. He's a tiny fishy. He's a tiny, tiny little baby fishy. And he looks at me like, no, that's That's absolutely terrifying. No, he's not. He's not. He's no baby whale shark. Because if you really think about it, for those of you who have actually studied anything about the ocean, you know that after certain levels of so many ATMs, there's so much of a pressure difference. So the further down you go in the ocean, the more compressed pressure there is. And I would guesstimate there's probably a marine biology department, something that could be like, yeah, so, if they ever tried to capture certain ones, and once they got them above a certain ATM, the animals died because they can't handle that pressure change. And so, you can't do that with certain animals because they will die because they cannot handle without having that particular compression. That's part of their animal makeup. And so, for the ones that, have been able to be seen, whether as far as they come to the surface or the ones in regards to they stay kind of at a certain level, but then they come to the surface for air and then they go back down and stuff like that. Those are the smaller ones. Those are very tiny because they can handle that sort of particular compression aspect in regards to the water in that level. So like, for example, for the ones who have done submarine stuff, whether, personal submarine stuff or, for example, the Navy and the Marine Corps and the Coast Guard for the United States of America, but though, other countries have a Navy and a Marine Corps or equivalent of, and they have submarines and stuff. That's why the animals are extremely different because of the there's other reasons, but that's why you don't see them up at the surface. You see them down where they're at. And so then there are the areas where not many have gone, which most scuba divers are able to go between the top, portion of the ocean, not necessarily as far deep as a submarine can go, of course. And then there's me, and that's a whole other ball of wax, and I'll get to that. However, they go, and that's why there's the difference in animals. It's not just the aspects in regards to the specific climate of that particular area of the ocean, but it also has to do with the aspects of the specific currents as well as the nutrients that are in the vicinity. And then you also have the aspects of the actual weather on top of the current and all that sort of stuff that gives it that stuff. And so in that regard, you have all that going on. And so in that reference, you have the animals that are much deeper than where the submarines can go by a lot. And that doesn't even include the mer people, because mer people can go all the way up and down, and that's not a problem for them, but that goes into their makeup and their genetics and stuff like that. However, in regards to when speaking with the scuba divers, like, yes, little baby anglerfish, it is so cute, tiffy fish. And the scuba diver, the male, he looks over at me and goes, that is a face only a mother could love. It is such a cute little fishy. It's so cute. It's so cute. You don't know. You be mean to the little baby anglerfish. Fishy. And so, what type of person would find that to be cute? It is the cutest little fishy. There are so many cuter fishies. Oh, there are so many cuter fishies. And he's just, I can't even wrap my head around you finding the anglerfish cute. I don't think I've ever met a female. Well, he didn't say female, I think, but whatever. Anyway, never met a female that's like, oh, that is such a cute little fish. And it's like, but it is. It's such a cute little anglerfish. It's so cute. And it's the one that I was describing to the mast. That was what I was describing during my interview, where I was like, there's this damn fishy and it's got no TV, so no TV, it's good like this. again, I see where I, you know, didn't get into MAST was because of that. That was my one question that I absolutely failed because, you know, scientific, you know, and not that there aren't scientists that can't joke around. It's not that there aren't scientists that can have fun. It's just, you know, usually most scientists are like, and then there's this little fishy, and it's the cutest little fishy. It's got little teeth, and, you know, usually it's science jokes. And they're funny science jokes, but usually they're not going, and the little fishy with the little fish, and the little tiffy fish. Because I'm that person. I have no problem with that. It is what it is. And so, in that regard, you know, there's just these cute little fishes. It's so cute. I've tried to explain this to people over the years, and they're just like, yeah, okay, no, they're so cute. And so over the years, you know, people have been like, how can you find, like, for example, how can you find, you know, because I had my ghost corn snake, how could you find Methuselah cute? Because he's my little Methuselah. It's a little baby snake. That's all. You know, like, it's just a little baby. It's a snake itch. You don't know. You don't know. And then, like, you know, Timber, fluffy pose. And then, you know, at Enchanted Rock in Fredericksburg, you know, there was the ram that just, you know, ran up and when I was meditating. And it was during the time of just before the final separation between my now dead ex-husband and the ram, just right there. And it's like, well, aren't you a cutie? And he lowered his head. It's like, I just want to pet you, but you're a cute little ram with your fluffy little booty. Because I am how I am. And so, you know, like, I don't necessarily like little animals, and it's not any offense to little animals. It just has to do with the fact that, like, I'm a little strong. And so when it comes to, like, you know, toy and teacup hunting dogs, oh, no, where's a real dog? Oh, look, because I have this thing, like, just because of how I am. So, you know, I've had my Great Danes, and and yes, the biggest titty babies ever. Biggest titty babies. And it's just big old Great Dane and carrying a little baby because he's such a baby. And I know there are people who have had Great Danes that know what I'm talking about, that they are, you know, fierce and can be protective. They can. But they're just big babies. And so, like, I had a friend in high school. He had a half Malamute, half wolf, and who's a little baby poopy dog? That's a little poopy dog. And it's funny because he's actually in the Navy, and so. Little fluffy Malamute wolf, did you do poopy doggy, did you do fluffy? And it was funny because when I got to meet the dog along with my friend's family and stuff, they were just like, yeah, usually, like, everybody is scared of him. Oh, there's a little baby, you're such a little baby, you so snuggles. And those who know, like, Malamute breeds and wolf breeds, they're not usually friendly to anyone that is not around them on a continuous basis. They're kind of, you know, wolf Malamute. Then that's just how the breed is. And so, you know, if that sort of it's kind of like a big deal that lets you know, like, cool, like, they're okay. And so there was this one point when I was on my Medal of Honor art project trip. There was a guy, and he had a half wolf, half German Shepherd. And, it's a little puppy dog. And, you know, I was playing with the dog and everything like that. And the guy's like, yeah, so most people, no, you just a little baby, huh? You just a little baby. You just a little baby puppy dog. Because I am how I am. I am. The bigger the animal, the more of a that I am. So I really wanted to, so like, for example, when I went scuba diving and I wound up in the Vandenberg area and dropped down and landed in the Matthias Abyss area, there was well, you better shut your mouth. You better go back down and don't you bother me. And I only saw like the white-ish from like the one tooth. Like, you got a little TV. Is your little TV. Is your little TV. Which, for that sort of a reference, when you think about it, that lets you know in that regard, not just what in reference of the masked aspect, but also, what I find cute. I'm a little weird, I don't deny that. And so, who's fishy. And so, and then in regards to surfacing and being, at whatever it is in the area that has the flag on the Vandenberg, like I know there's that, I don't know what it's called, if it's like a truss or a frame or whatever it is, but where the flag is, that thing, I have no idea what that is, but you can see right there, baby, fishy. And again, it depends on, when you think about it, because the head of that fish, the top part of the head, not where the fin part is, just the top part of the head and the bottom part of the jaw, is as big as that truss frame thing. And like, don't make me have to punch you in the face to defend myself. I just want to take a picture as I'm surfacing. And just you cute little fishy. You cute little fishy. You're just so cute. And so I am how I am. I don't deny it. So I'm really, really excited because I get to go talk with the seal poopy dogs. I mean, I'm really excited, obviously, about picking up my two biggest pieces of my Medal of Honor art project that I completed thus far. So, then you have that as an example in regards to, it's like, because I am how I am. And so I'm really, 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 really excited to go and, see that and be like, so I get to pick up my Medal of Honor art pieces. And they are big. They are big. I think, what is it? The measurements are like just a little over 5 feet, maybe. Or just close to 5 feet for one or both, maybe. Somewhere around there. And so it's pure glass, And so I'm really, really excited because, the Medal of Honor guys. And so while I get to go out there after I pick up the pieces, and then I get to go and see the seal poopy dogs and talk to the seal poopy dogs. And then, I also want to go to the Montana Vortex and, so then, if you really think about like in other regards, I will do a separate video in that regard. However, I know that they're called moose. I call them meesies. Because they're little meesies. And they don't know this, and they're so cute. They're meesies. I bet they taste really good. I am a carnivore. I've had elk. That is good. I like venison. Venison's good. That's tasty. That's really good. And buffalo is pretty awesome. Cute! And so, I am how I am. And so I'm really, 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 really excited to be able to see all that at the exact same time. So I'll be able to get my Medal of Honor artwork pieces and go run around on the quicksand. Hope to see my son, but I understand he's doing his stuff. But yeah, then go see Cthulhu. Yeah, what's up, Cthulhu? And, you know, I am how I am. So I'll be doing a couple of YouTube videos as I go. Um, and you know, that includes, you know, when I go and run around on top of the quicksand in the ocean. You know, I did a Periscope video set of that. And so, yeah, and, you know, apparently they delete after a little while, so. But yeah, that was me running around on top of the quicksand, on top of the ocean, with the geese that came down, fighting against the current to get to where I was. The Canadian geese, too. Canadian geese. But yeah, so that's. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And so yeah. Yeah, I'm weird. I get it. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But yeah, there'll be get my 2 little guys. It's the biggest one, so then, you know, like in that regard, if you think about it, like, oh, who's a little baby Cthulhu, and you know, who's TV. So you can understand how like excited I am. And so you guys have a good one.